What is going on, guys? Coming to us for a brand new video today. We're going to be actually kind of ranting it up today about the NCP water bucket. We're going to be discussing if it should be bannable, if it should be allowed, why it should be allowed, just pretty much everything around it. I'm going to go into a forums post that I was actually referenced in, and we're going to just go over a whole bunch of stuff that I think is very important and that is very well stated on this post. There's a lot of good stuff and a whole ton of bad stuff on this forums post, so we're going to go through all of it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Alright, so this is a forums post that I will also link in the description of this video, but I came across this, and I thought this was actually a very great thing to bring up, because I didn't actually know about even these staff saying that it will be bannable. Obviously, I have used it in my videos. I think just about every single person that has made videos that consistently plays and that is good at the game, not even good at the game, just who consistently plays and knows about it, tries this, and they've done it in videos. Here's the very first post here. He discusses about how it's complete nonsense. You know, people such as myself, Tabor, Tapple, AoE, they all abuse this. Technically, I guess it would be abuse, as it is a glitch, but he just talks about how Hypixel should just fix the bug instead of banning players that are just trying to survive and play the game. I'm going to try to stick away from, even though in my opinion this is very important, I'm going to try to stick away from the fact that lagging back up and water bucketing is actually a very positive thing, as there's a lot of reasons that you get knocked off in the first place, and in my opinion, every time you get knocked off the map, it is very, very rare that you getting knocked off the map is a legitimate fight. It's usually you getting snowballed, egged, which is part of the game, or you're knockback abused, which is 85 to 90% of the time you fall off. It's either you getting knockback abused or you just screwing up and falling off yourself. So, you know, I'm not going to get into the part about, you know, you're kind of combating getting knocked off the edge by terrible players. I'm not going to get into that because that's not really fair, because that, you know, using knockback is technically part of the game, although it is completely scummy, and I've already discussed that really. But I'm going to avoid that. We're going to actually just stick to this forums post at hand, and we're just going to get into it. I'm going to show you a couple of pretty good responses that I think sum this up very well. Alright, this first one is actually a very, very good point. I think it's very important. Basically, as you can see here, Defib, a bigger YouTuber, has used it in his videos and has not gotten banned, whilst a much smaller YouTuber or content creator has used it and got banned. I don't know, I can't confirm this, but that's what this says. And I think this is completely unfair. I do not think anyone should get banned for using it, regardless of if they make videos or not. I don't think, even if they're seen in game doing it, I do not think they should be banned for it. It's absolutely ridiculous to ban someone that is just trying to play the game and continue on and potentially win the game, when this is implemented originally, in theory, to catch fly hackers who are cheating and completely against everything that they want. Instead of, you know, it actually banning the fly hackers, because let's face it, if you have a good client, Watchdog isn't the best. It's just not going to catch you. You can fly around, I see it every single day. Sometimes it does catch them. If they're trying to go too fast, it'll lag them around, it'll make them take fall damage, but it's supposed to catch those people. It's not supposed to be a thing where you're banning the players that aren't cheating. That is absolutely ridiculous in my mind. I cannot believe this is even really a topic that I have to discuss. Moving on to the next great point, I think, is once again, apparently this is Infinite Skills. He makes another good point here. He's talking about the fact that if you're being targeted or focused by someone that's purely trying to knock you off, and you're not able to actually use this glitch to your advantage, it can be a complete waste of time and a waste of your game. You could be doing very well, like he says, and it's happened to me, it's happened to all good players, and just players alike. You know, you get knocked off with no skill, no contest at all, and you just die. Now, granted, a point that I would like to make is, I played Skywars when this wasn't a thing. I'm sure most of you remember that. When there was no lag back, you didn't just lag back every single time in Mega. If you even moved slightly, sometimes you didn't have to move at all and you'd lag back at this point. When that wasn't a thing and you couldn't water bucket, there was nothing to complain about. You didn't have to worry about banning people for it because it didn't exist. Clearly it arose somehow. I don't know if it was when they adjusted the anti-cheat to try to catch more fly hackers or speed hacks in general. Clearly it has something to do with that, and it's been I'm not like trying to bash on Hypixel, remember that, because I love this server. But it's been months and months and months, and I don't know how difficult it is to code a new anti-cheat or get rid of the current one and replace it with a new one. I don't know any of that, but the thing is, they've got a great team, so you would expect in the amount of time that it's actually been in the game that it would be completely taken out and replaced. At this point, it's been months and months and months of this happening. So frankly, if you're not really custom to handling the knockback at this point, or sorry, not the knockback, well, the knockback for starters, and secondly, if you're not used to handling water bucketing at this point, I don't know what you're really complaining about, because at this point I'm so accustomed to it because I play every day that I even wait for people to come back up. It's just a slight adjustment in your game plan. It doesn't really affect much. I think it's actually kind of cool because not everyone can do it, but if you work on it, you can actually become pretty decent at it and pretty much hit it every time. That is, if you actually lag back up, which is not 100%. So I think it's actually kind of a cool component to the game. It's really interesting in intense fights sometimes if one person gets hit off and comes back and continues fighting. I think it's a tactic. I think it's pretty cool to see and watch, and I don't really have a problem when it's used against me. Now that's just me being a fair player. I don't know, a lot of these players on here, I've never seen them in Mega, which is primarily where it happens, so I don't really know why they're complaining, because clearly they don't know how to do it, and B, they just have never actually experienced this as many times as the players that play every single day and have tens of thousands of kills. Here's another point that I'd like to touch on here. It's kind of a joking comment here, but better start banning Acidic Bliss is actually how I figured out about this. Because he asked, can someone link me the thread, and I saw that because I follow him on Twitter, and I went to this thread and I saw all this ridiculous stuff. So, you know, jokingly saying, oh, you should ban him then because he's used it, and he has, which again, I'm completely all for. I think it's a cool thing, and I think it should either continue to be allowed, or secondly, more preferably, just remove it completely. I don't know why it's in the game. None of us really do, but Hypixel can't start banning. I mean, they can, it's just not going to be a very smart business approach here. They're not going to start banning YouTubers that pull in thousands and thousands of views. Now, granted, I'm small, I pull in like 1 to 2K a video, but like, they're not going to ban someone like Justin who's using it, who gets 30 to 40 to 50, you know, he gets thousands and thousands of views. And they're not just going to go around and start banning all of the YouTubers that record on their server and advertise their server for them. Like, it doesn't make any sense to do that. And because they're not going to do that, it is unfair for lower content creators that have less recognition and just people in general that don't record at all. It is unfair for them to get banned because then you're giving YouTubers and people that create videos way higher of a standard. You're giving them pretty much free reign over this glitch without anyone else being able to use it, which is completely unfair. One of the last things I'd like to touch on is actually a reply from Gumpy. You know, he's a very good player overall. He plays a lot of Mega, so he's experienced with all of this kind of stuff, and I do trust his reply. So basically what he says right here, basically instead of banning hackers, what staff is supposed to do, they will ban innocent players who lag back up because of an anti-cheat glitch, which again is supposed to stop hackers from flying. I talked about this a little bit earlier, but that sums it up perfectly right there. Staff is supposed to be focused on banning hackers, correct? That's not their only purpose. In fact, it's probably not most of their purpose. They do a lot of other stuff apart from just banning people. But that is part of it. Now, Watchdog was created so that they didn't have to put as much of a load on staff, so that they didn't have to ban as much, and Watchdog could do it for them. However, when Watchdog doesn't work, because let's face it, yes, sometimes it does work. There's no longer, I don't think there's a conspiracy saying it's not a thing. It is a thing. I've seen many people get banned from it, but consistently, absolutely not. So basically, with an anti-cheat glitch like this, when Watchdog doesn't catch it and the anti-cheat glitch kicks in, and then you decide to ban the players that are just trying to get back on the map when you get glitched, you're banning them instead of the people that are actually cheating and flying around the map. That, I can't even fathom how stupid that is, and I don't see any reason why anyone would think that would be the appropriate thing to do. What Gumpy said was actually very well, once again, summed up by Blue Jewel here. She's just basically saying it's extremely messed up that someone would get banned for anti-cheat versus someone that's flying around 8-blocking people. They're not getting banned because Watchdog is not yet developed enough. I'm not saying it will never be developed enough. I'm just saying right now, it doesn't catch. I wouldn't say it even catches 50%. I don't think it even catch about 20% of the people that I see cheating. It doesn't catch kill aura. It only catches speed and fly. That's the only thing it can consistently catch. Anti-KB occasionally as well, but force field kill aura it does not catch. It is absolutely impossible to catch that. Well, for Watchdog to catch that, in my opinion. So, you know, it's not perfect. It's still false bans. That's very important. Tons of good players have been false banned by Watchdog. And, you know, it can't catch people that are blatantly cheating, aka the rank leaderboard. And basically, you know, that's just a very good way of summing up everything. To sum this entire discussion up, firstly, I appreciate if you've gotten to this point in the video, but to sum this up, Brandon wrote a pretty much perfect response here. Sums it up all perfectly. There's a bunch of reasons, as you can see here, to why lag back is completely broken, and a lot of the times it's not even due to fighting, it's just due to the anti-cheat being awful a lot of the times. Now granted, I'm still glad it's there, in terms of, you know, if you don't have an anti-cheat, it's just going to be a disaster, but the fact that they haven't fixed it is another story. He talks about the fact that, you know, there's people that baseball, and baseballing was still abusive in my opinion in itself, but we're not going to get into that, like I said. But the fact that now you lag back up when you knock someone off the edge, especially when it involves a lot of velocity. So like if you get knockback 3 rod, if you get baseball 2'd, you know, formerly slime ball for a while would also do that. Anytime that you get hit off with a lot of velocity, chances are very good, in my opinion, that you get lagged back up. So now baseballing is just super overpowered, because before, if you hit someone off, that's a conscious decision you're making that you're not going to get their stuff, but you are going to get the kill. Now you can get the kill and get their stuff, which is so backwards. So should you get banned for that then? Because in theory, hear me out here, in theory, that's abusing a glitch, right? Water bucketing is technically abusing the glitch, because you're knocked off, you rubber band back up, and you survive by water bucketing. So you're technically abusing the anti-cheat lag back glitch. Baseballing people off the edge to expect them to lag back up and you take all of their stuff, technically you're using the anti-cheat to your advantage as well, and therefore you're also abusing that glitch. Now granted, they will never say that's abusing that glitch, but in theory, if you think about it, it's the exact same thing. A lot of you might disagree with me there, but when you really sit down and think about it, you're both using that glitch to your advantage. So why would you be banned for doing one of those things, when you're not banned for doing the other? Just think about that for a second. I think that is a very good point that a lot of people overlook. And he sums up the final little part here. Just to sum it up, water bucketing made playing with this awful anti-cheat or whatever it is somewhat bearable. The fact that staff is making a hasty "let's ban people instead of fixing it" rule is hilarious. I completely agree with this. Instead of working as an entire team to fix this problem that has been here for months and months and months, they're deciding, and once again, I cannot confirm that this is actually a thing. I haven't even seen it enforced personally by anyone I know. But to say that that's the approach that they want to take, and I really do hope, if there's any staff watching this, I really do hope you're not going to take that approach, or you're not already taking that approach, because it is completely backwards and exactly the opposite direction you want to take this. So I would completely agree. The anti-cheat is broken about 80% of the time. Water bucketing backup is just a little consolation prize to make it a tad bit better for every player, whether, you know, they're able to pull it off and water bucket, or if they fail it or they don't lag back up at all. It made it a little bit more bearable, and until that's fixed, I think that should remain in the game. I think it should be completely legal, and I do not think that anyone should be banned for this, regardless of if they make videos on it or not, regardless of if you see them in the game doing it. I think it's just part of the game at this point, and until it's taken out of the game, I think people just should deal with it, because it's really not that big of an issue. There are far bigger bugs out there, or not even far bigger bugs out there, but there's things that I would worry about a lot more than worrying about someone water bucketing back up, because it's very easy to adjust your strategy to accommodate that. Obviously, the glitch itself is very bad and should be looked at immediately, but it should have been looked at for the past 3 or 4 months immediately. But nonetheless, hopefully this gets resolved. I did want to make a video on this because I think a lot of people made really good points in this forums post, and a lot of people have no idea what they're talking about. The people that play Mega were typically right on the money with it because they experience it the most, and the people that, I don't even know if they play Skywars, but they certainly don't play a lot of Mega, or at least I don't recognize them. I think they completely missed the entire point, and they didn't really think out their thoughts completely, but nonetheless, hopefully you guys did enjoy this. Let me know if you want more rant videos in the future. Drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.